In this short video, I'm going to talk about some information security good practices. Good practice around addressing activities related to information security and the threats associated to your business. I'm Chris from FQM. We'd appreciate it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn. So what is information security? So it's the confidentiality, integrity and availability of the data and information within your business. And it's about protecting that information so people who should have access do, but those who should not do not get access. And it's the ability to respond to threats on our information. And of course it's related to our assets and our people within our organisation. So some of the key principles that are good practice is ensuring you have a firewall. So one of the first lines of defence associated to cyber attacks is having a firewall in place. This provides a barrier of defence and minimises the opportunity for a threat to occur. It's also important to recognise that some organisations are starting to use internal firewalls as well, so that there are some additional barriers related to sensitive information. It's also important that we recognise in this day and age the number of people that may work from home and use other types of devices, not ones set up by the company. We have to ensure that these firewalls are in place to protect our information in the situation when people are using these types of devices as well. It's also important that we have policies and rules within our business. While small businesses can often operate in a hearsay, word of mouth type activity, it's based on knowledge that they have built up over many years. And if it's a small number of people, the sharing of information can be quite simple. However, when it comes to cyber attacks and the protection of our data and information, depending on the criticality of this, it is really important that we have these documented policies and rules, not just something that's word of mouth. And when we do this, it's important that we ensure that the people within our organisation sign up to follow these rules and policies. It's important that these requirements are followed and we keep on top of changes when changes occur. When we hear about additional threats and additional information activities that we need to do within our business, we must update these policies and rules and ensure we communicate and educate the people within our business that could be our weakest link. And what about mobile devices, and specifically bring your own devices? More and more companies are allowing people within their organisation to access information within their systems using their own devices, possibly while working from home, or accessing them through mobile devices, tablets and smartphones. In this situation, we must ensure that we have proper practices in place, rules and policies associated to using these devices, and ensure that people follow them. So we must make sure that they have the essential installation of security software in these devices. We must ensure that they follow the same principles of accessing data on our systems, our company systems, through the correct protocol, not recording information and saving information directly on their own devices. Likewise, we must try and enforce regular updates to this security software that they're using on their own devices. Try to ensure that they either automate this so that when new updates come, that these are implemented as soon as possible. It's also important that we include a level of password protection as well. Yes, is the individual's devices, but if we don't have extra levels of barriers in place, we want to ensure that they have passwords associated to these devices. How about awareness and communication? Well, this is really very, very important. So that within a small to medium-sized business, it's quite common for people to have multiple hats that they wear, and these hats having different responsibilities. So it's therefore essential employees that have access to our networks in different areas understand these security rules. It may form part of our induction process when someone joins the business, that we make them aware and communicate clearly with them what the rules are and what they can and cannot do. But it's also important to know that they should be aware of what they need to do if there is a potential situation, whether that is in the office or site environment, or whether that is working from home or using their own smartphone device. It's really important that awareness and communication continues within an organization, and it's not something you do once when someone joins the business. We must remember that cybercrime is growing all the time. The threats are increasing all the time, and therefore our means of protecting our information must be enhanced. So our awareness and communication around this and sharing of this information is ultimately important, because the people within our business can often be our weakest link to a threat. And what about the data and information we have? Well, it's important that we try to prevent an attack, but it's also important to recognize that attacks will happen. It may not be today or tomorrow, but ultimately most organizations will have some form of attack on them, whatever that may be. So we want to back up our data, and there are a multitude of different methods of how we can do that now, to localized and cloud-based solutions. But let's think about this. We do not want to just rely on that backup data being 100% accurate. We want to check it from periodically to ensure that the backup information is available when we need it. We want to ensure that when this situation happens, we want to try and obtain the information we need as quickly as we can, in order that we can try and bring about some level of business continuity as quickly as possible. And let's talk also about multi-factor identification or authentication. So when humans are involved in our business processes, and regardless of how good our policies and rules are, sometimes mistakes will happen. Human error. So to try and take away the human element of this, having something like multi-factor authentication or identification is a good practice that will give us a strengthened barrier to protect us from human error when using devices to access our information. As cyber criminals get more advanced, we want to try and adopt advanced technology that will help drive these barriers of protection against these crimes. And let's think about incidents. When an incident does occur, and particularly in a small business, they may be hit by phishing scam or ransomware or something that interrogates their data and can provide them with some weaknesses. We want to try and educate the people within our business to say that reporting of incidents is a very positive step to take, even if it is a mistake that one of the guys in our organization has done themselves. It's a human error. We want to ensure this is communicated quickly, because we want to ensure that the responsible people within our business can put in place containment action to try and protect others within the business and other data within the business. Likewise, it may also be good practice to share this information outside of the business so that we can help on the global message of what we're trying to do around protecting our data and our information. So it could have a benefit on the global trends related to attacks. We have to think about when an attack happens and how we would respond to that. So we want to consider that we don't want to wait until the attack has occurred and then think about the activities and response we will have in order to minimize the impact and try and get back to business as normal. If you have ever been in a business or in a situation where this has occurred to you, then you will find that the time it takes to respond when you do not have a detailed plan in place and a key area to identify the roles and responsibilities and how to respond, you'll find that this can be a very time-consuming and expensive practice. Therefore, one of the really good positive measures is to put a response plan in place. This is to look at how you will respond when there is an attack or a serious incident, and the methods that you will follow to try and get back to business as normal as quickly as possible, and of course to be able to put in additional protections and barriers. This might mean that your response plan has to bring in external support to assist you with putting these practices in place. But realistically, what we want to do as an organization is not to have an impact on our normal business practices. As well as that, we have to remember that attacks can have an impact on our business as a whole, but also on potentially our clients and other stakeholders if we are holding critical information associated to them. So the business really has to respond as quickly and efficiently as it can. And in order to do that, we want to have a working plan that is tested and checked to ensure that when the situation occurs, we can respond to it as quickly as possible and ensure that we have business continuity to minimize the impact. So there are some key takeaways that we want to talk about associated to these good practices. These are focused on small to medium-sized businesses. They don't need to be related to a certification or a very detailed information security management system. These are just some key good practices that a small to medium-sized business could follow that will provide them with some help and assistance. If you want to know a little bit more about information security, please have a look at some of our other videos on YouTube or follow us on LinkedIn. We've got some detailed training information available around ISO 27001 and information security management systems. Thanks very much.